This is set number 79105, Baxter Robot Rampage. This is from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series from 2013. Ages 6 to 12, 397 pieces, and retails for about $40. Although you might find it at Toys R Us for different prices. It could be still $40, maybe $35, but it could also be up to about $50. Sometimes you could get a deal for this and get it as low as $25, just like I did, because it had 50% off. But check your local listings for current prices of Toys R Us. They are varying, and I'm saying Toys R Us specifically because this is the only place you can buy it in store. You can buy it on the LEGO website for $40, but you can't get it in Target or what was I going to say? Not Best Buy. You can't get it in Target or Walmart or other retailers. This is a Toys R Us exclusive, as shown, I think, somewhere on the box. No? I was pretty sure it was on the box somewhere. But we'll take a look at that later. In fact, we'll take a look at the box and info now. So here we have the box art for the set. As you can see, it's a very standard style for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You have the 4 turtles on the top, that purple and green, which I really like with these boxes. Because you don't get purple a lot with LEGO sets. Usually bluish, sometimes yellow, sometimes other colors. But purple is one that rarely pops up. You got all the figures shown on here, and also shown in the bottom corner with their names and trademark next to them, since they're all licensed figures. Even the Mauser, that counts as a licensed figure. It's a very big box, so you can't miss it when you see it in stores. On the back, it shows you all the features, mainly ones associated with the Baxter Robot. And granted, yes, he has a whole bunch of features on him, but there was actually a little bit more than there's a little bit less on the back of the box than what is actually in the set. If you consider the flick-fire missiles, or the flick-fire launcher in his hand, or the ones on here, the ones on the top, there's a couple more things that are not shown in the set, but you can still see from the box, how everything looks. On the bottom is a comic strip, which shows April O'Neil is captured by Baxter. Then the turtles fly in and knock over the Mauser. They try to trip up the robot. Very common technique, which I've seen with a bunch of different sets, or even in Star Wars. Get a giant robot, you have someone flying or someone driving to trip them. So that's a kind of clever, kind of cliche technique. But I still like the comic with it. It's okay. Gets a point across with all the features. We have 2 numbered bags. We have 3 numbered bags and 2 instructions, also numbered, 1 and 2. First instruction book has to do with the first bag only, and shows you right in the front what each of the bags are for. First bag includes all the figures except Baxter, and built the Turtles' vehicles. Bag 2 shows the top of Baxter's robot and most of the body. And the bag 3 just has most of the legs and the hip area. Just flip to the back. We have the piece count, all shown in here across 2 pages. And you can see right there, it's the second to last page is the end of bag 1. Bag 2 has all the instructions, or instruction book 2 has bag 1 and 2 located in it. Also shows a pose at the end with the robot running towards April. Also shows some of the features in the set, just like we saw on the back of the box. It shows the LEGO Club on the back, all of the 5 sets, not including the polybag, and doesn't show you all the figures. Some of these sets in the instructions show you all the figures in the theme except for the polybag. it tells you what set they're in. This one doesn't. But I think the other books show you for this set. I don't know. I'll double check on that and follow up with an extra video, if so. On the back, it also shows you the comic, so in case you wanted to keep the comic, you could see it here, and you can also see it on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles website on Lego.com. Here are all the bags that are included with the set. A lot of small bags for a lot of small parts. We get one mold bag, which I'd like to call it, because this is usually for special molds or special pieces. And this bag is actually for April O'Neil's hair. I don't know why, but her hair is included as a unique piece in this bag. I was just thinking, maybe there would be something else for it, or, probably would just count as a regular piece. Because it's not flexible or anything, it's just a not too often used hair piece. So I found that kind of interesting. This one we have a very large bag 2. We have a somewhat small bag 3. And then we have a pretty large, almost as large as 2, bag 1. And that little piece is from one of the other bags. Let's get to some of the building videos I took while building the set. And this doesn't include the Fridays part, because I did build this during a Fridays episode. So here we are, ready to open up the box. And let's take a look inside. Alright, that went easier than I expected. That's right, I threw the box. I can do that. So, what do we have? One small instruction manual, which opens up this way. One slightly larger instruction manual, also opens this way. Each labeled 1 and 2, so you know which one to start with. We got some stickers. Looks like only 2 of them, actually, so that's really good. This is just one on the large piece, one on a skateboard. We got, that's 3. There's bag number 1. This must be bag number 2. And then we have bag number 3. So, let's open this up. This is what we build for each of them. First one has 3 or 4 figures and some of the smaller vehicles. 2 has a larger part of the robot, and 3 has some of the legs. Alright, so let's get to it. Got some smaller bags in here for smaller pieces. But what really makes things interesting is this bag for this hairpiece. We've seen this in a couple different sets, but why would they put it in a little bag? So in a very similar approach to the Turtle Lair attack, the first instruction manual has to deal with only the first bag. Now, these are the last instructions, because I know that the next page just has the piece count for everything, and that's it. We get a couple extra pieces in the first bag, a lot of 1x1s. You got some extra tools. You got some, I still can't place a name for this piece, but it's a neat looking piece. We get a Technic piece, and one of the pieces used for Donnie's staff. So, interesting pieces, and there are our figures. Hello everyone, if you've been watching my Fridays episodes, you probably know that I built most of this through the Fridays episode. So we just finished off bag 2 of 3 for the Baxter Robot Rampage. Here are some of the extra pieces that we get in this bag. A lot of 1x1s, Technic pieces, a lever, 1x2, and we also get an additional string piece. Now we had 2 of these and only one of them was asked in the instructions. So what you do, you attach it on the end of this. It goes all the way through the arm so that when you release it, you can have a way of pulling it back on. I don't know if this would actually be used elsewhere in the set, but we'll see about that after bag 3. We'll turn over the page, and we'll get onto the legs and torso of Bag 3. So here we are at the end of Bag 3. You basically build 2 parts to this, and no extra pieces in the bags. You build these 2 legs and feet for the robot, and you also build the torso section. I already attached that on before. So, now we have in the second part to put them all together. You have to bend these around, and you just give me a second, I will put it on. There we go. Oops, I fell over. So as we look further into the instructions, it shows a little pose with that robot. And we have April running away from it. Then we have some of the extras showing some of the features of the set. All of the 6 sets in 2013. And the comic is shown on the back. You also have a comic builder section on the bottom where you go onto lego.com/teenage, well, just turtles, I guess. Okay, so let's take a look at all of the extra pieces we get in this set. Starting off, we have the sticker sheet. Basically, there's only 2 stickers in the set, which is really good. But there's one sticker I want to talk about in just a bit when we get to the actual set. One of these is for the torso area on the robot, and the second one is for the skateboard on Donatello's quad, I guess. Maybe it's a bike, but I think of it as like a quad. It seems larger. Here are the extra pieces that we get in this set. We get an extra sai, because we already have 2 of them. We get an extra claw, because 2 of them are used for Mausers. We get an extra semi-rope piece, and both of these are included in the set. One of them's already on the robot, and the other one is just an extra, I guess. Both of these are included with the tape around them, so you want to be careful when you're peeling them apart. I mean, they're not easy to break. It's just something you want to, try to get all the tape off of it so it works out the best. You got a lot of 1x1s in here. Some tooth pieces. There's a lever. And pretty much your standard type of pieces you would get in an extra pieces you would get. You got this little arm piece. Kind of unique. Kind of new for 2013, I think. You can see them all there. And now we can move on to our set. So the first minifigure I'll start with is somewhat considered a minifigure, but some people may argue otherwise. This is the Mauser. If you're not familiar with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a Mauser is a standard droid that's created by Baxter. These are usually found in an army, and they have a very basic body to them, very easy to build. And they basically, walk around and chomp on things. They don't have much to do, but they have a very powerful chomp that can go through certain steel structures and wall structures. It kind of helps them in digging. You may remember in some of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games, they would just bore holes in the wall and then pop out, and a whole bunch of them at the same time. Or at least I remember that. They also do that in the TV show as well. Not only the modern one, but also some of the older TV shows. Oops. It's kind of basic to build. We get 2 1x1 pieces that go on there. So that's how you see his yellowish glow. I guess it's his eyes, but it's really like in the mouth area, so maybe it's just the inside of his mouth. Next up, we have Baxter Stockman. This is a scientist who created the Baxter robot, of course. He's been featured in almost all of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series, not only the modern one, but also the classic ones. In the classic ones, he was actually a white person, and slightly different in his outfit. This modern one, actually not this modern one, but the one before, I think 2003 version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, changed his ethnicity. Let's put it that way, to be correct. He's got a very nice torso and head printing. I really like how it's designed. He's got that nice, kind of calm face on him. Then on the back, we have a more angry face. And here's a look underneath his torso. This is all the wiring that helps him operate robots. Not because he's a robot, but he's a very technical guy. If I remember correctly from the TV show, in the modern one, it shows that he was usually mocked by other people for his abilities, or lack of, or something. And, he usually sought out revenge for those, against those people. Even the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, when they ran into him, they kind of thought, oh, he's no big problem, so they just beat him a little bit, and then shoved him into a trash can. Then he just sought revenge after the Turtles, and later on teamed up with Shredder. He was able to convince Shredder how to use the Mousers as another form of army, along with the foot soldiers. But also note, he has a chrome helmet. I don't think we've seen this chrome helmet in many other sets. And the chrome, very similar to Ninjago, because it is the same one as Ninjago. Shoulder armor, I guess. So you can store katana blades in the back of here if you want to, but technically Baxter doesn't use them. And then we have our heroes in the set. I'm going to start with Raphael. Now, these two turtles are only one of two forms which are in, two variations of the turtles currently available. Raphael has just a kind of calm but serious look on his face. It's a less extreme of the two. And if you want a comparison, here's the one from Turtle Lair Attack. Basically, the face is the only thing that changes between the two figures. And that goes for the other turtles. So he's got that nice... sometimes you can recognize him just by, the darker skin and the broken part on his shell. That's something that's, I like that kind of detail with the turtles. Sometimes you look at their shells and you can tell, they have differences. He also has a difference of belt, and you can tell them apart on the back with the shell molding pieces. He carries two Sai as his primary weapon, and he's one of the stronger guys, more aggressive guys in the group. Then we have Donatello, which is also kind of a science guy. He works a lot on machinery, so he probably developed the weapons and vehicles in our set today. He's a little bit of a lighter skin, just like Michelangelo, and that should help you with building him. You can see on the back how that looks. The back of the turtles, I'm pretty sure, is the same for all of them. Yep, just the same. But there is back printing, in case you were wondering. And obviously there is no back head printing, because, well, they have a molded head that only has it on one side, so they have the headband shown on the other. And then we have April O'Neil. Now, in this version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, she's much different from the classic form of April O'Neil. April O'Neil in the classic form had more of a trench coat, and she was a reporter in the city, in New York City. Now, in this reboot of the series, I don't remember if she was in the 2004 version, but at least in the 2012 version, she is now a teenager, and obviously has different personality and looks to her, but she's still a friend of the Turtles, and, these two are said to have a thing going. Well, I don't know. I mean, Donatello likes April. I don't know if she returns. But anyways, enough of that. She does have very nice torso printing. It's very rare that you get this kind of... well, she is a rare figure, because this is the only set she's been made for. You also get that nice hairpiece, which only comes in some of the collectible minifigure sets. Very few times in regular sets. And you can also see on her legs, there's a difference of dark blue and black. Because she has black with, I guess, in the show it looks like black leggings and shoes, but she has like these jean shorts over them. I don't know what it is. It's a little hard to tell though, but if you look at it very closely, you can see there's a difference. There we go. So a little bit odd for the darker color, because from far away it looks like the same for the pants, so you can't tell too much of the difference. There is the back of her torso, and we also do get some back printing on there. We also get a back expression, the one that she shows in the set. The one that's kind of more of anger. And then this one is calm. Here's a look at the hairpiece, which is a nice hairpiece, and it's one of the few that have a streak through her hair. I don't know if it's a headband. I'm guessing the way that it's made, it's probably made to be a headband. If I remember in the show, yes, she has a headband, so that makes sense. And I do like that hairpiece. Nice improvement. So now let's get a look at our set. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is Donatello's quad car. Now, in the show, they do have, each of the turtles have their own car similar to this. I can remember in one of the episodes, for the 2012 version of the show, they have all four of them driving in their own cars, and I think some of them are able to combine with others. This one is the only form that's made for Lego, and is not combined with anything else. So if we look at it, it's got some, some olive green on it for the turtles. It's nice to have the olive green and yellow combination, because that's good for turtle vehicles. That goes for current and past series. We got these nice giant tires in the back. There is our skateboard with the sticker on it, and the sticker fits very nicely on. It's hard not to get it correct. And here's our looks underneath. So you have a little bit of loose play with the skateboard, and you could probably hold some other stuff on the back of here if you want to. We also have a section on the side which can hold Donatello's staff. This is the improved version of the staff. I believe his first one broke, and then he got a new version which has a blade on the end of it. And that goes for in the show, so it's actually accurate. And then you just have enough space in here to fit him. Even as a turtle, he has enough space, for that shell to fit in the back. So very nice little model for that. Very well done. Next model we have for the turtles is Raphael's, I guess, airplane, possibly. This one's a three-wheeled vehicle with some basic wheels in the back, and we got the one wheel in the front. We got the single headlight, and again the yellow and olive green combination. A lot more of the yellow is used in this set, or in this model, than the olive green. You get it on the back and on the front. So I guess it's okay, but I would have liked to see a little bit of variation in that color scheme. You still get some brown, dark gray, chrome, and black throughout this set as well. He's got enough room in here to fit himself easily. He's not the shell's not in the way of anything. You have parts on the side to hold his sai, and we get what looks like rockets on top of here, but they're actually down here. These are the flick fire missiles you can use in the set, and they can turn a little bit, so be careful when using it, because they might turn a little different direction than you want them to. Unless you want it to turn that direction, because that's possible too. You also got a propeller on the back you can spin. You can move the car around on its wheels, so that's no problem for having it land, or you can pop a wheelie with it. And one thing I like about this, I thought of this while building it, you have this middle section pretty structurally sound. And I can try to move it back and forth, it's not popping off. And that's because of these black pieces and gray pieces connecting from top to bottom. You can see that line in there. It actually makes for a nice design and for keeping the model structurally, like, durable. So this could take quite a bit of moving around. It's the wings that could possibly fall off most easily. So we have that done. Now on to the actual part of the set, Baxter's robot. Where do I start? I'm not saying that in a bad way, but I'm saying that in the good way. Like, where do I top and bottom or anything? Alright, so we'll start with the bottom. And take a look at some of these legs. These are built on a sideways form and, well, are flat in the bottom. So that's kind of a nice, easy thing to work with. You get a ball joint for the ankle, and then like a fixed joint for the near hip area, I guess you could call it. I don't know what best to call it. So you have some posability with the legs. One thing I find a couple times when I was just trying to hold it steady, the ball joints would move around a bit. So even standing still, it has a tendency to lean forward and lean backward. I haven't really seen it fall over when it does that. It just kind of like stays that way. Which is good, so it doesn't disrupt the entire play. But, maybe it's a little hefty on some sides more than others. These are also very easy to build, similar to other robots that we've built in the past. In the hip area, you do get some movement all the way around. The only problem is you might run into trouble with these pieces. Sometimes they interfere with the hip area, just interfering with that piece. Next, let's see. We'll go to the arms next. Actually, no, let's save the arms for last, because those are some of the better features of the set. So, next up we have the torso, and I'd like to point out, this piece is actually a giant clear six stud wide piece. You wouldn't recognize that, but it does have it. We just have a sticker that goes over it, and transparency allows us to make a window in the middle. Now, when I first saw the set, I thought it was the opposite. Like, I don't know how that would have worked, because it probably wouldn't have worked the other way. But this is a lot easier way for it to work. The detail in here is very good, because it's accurate to the Baxter robot, as we see in the TV show. And I'll get into more detail about background info later. So we'll turn this around, and we'll take a look from the back. Here we have a hatch that can open up, and we can fit Baxter inside of there. And Baxter has enough room. He has some levers, and those little dial pieces that we see in other sets are also on either side. Oops. And that broke off. It doesn't usually break off, I just hit it by accident. So we do get enough room in there to fit him. With the hatch down, it would be hard to see him through there, unlike on the box. And it's a little hard to move the levers in here before you fit him in, just because of maybe I have larger fingers. Maybe someone else with smaller fingers can move it easily. You just squeeze him in there. Alright, almost. Good. Nope. Not in yet. It could be just for my finger size. There we go. He fits. And that closes down very nicely. Next up, we'll go to the front of this, where we have some lights on here. These lights are for, so you see where it goes, and also helps create the idea of the set. The torso area is supposed to look like, kind of like a long-toothed monster, because in the episode it shows the robot through 3 phases. In the old show, they had a similar robot to this, but I don't remember if he had as many phases. The new show 2012 version has 3 phases. First, Baxter starts off as like himself and like the few gadgets. Then he has a slightly larger robot, more oval shaped. Then he has this one. This is the big one like the most power to it, this is the one you don't want to mess with. And it's a good choice for Lego because it's the most powerful and probably has the most articulation. So, the idea of these large pieces, even though they get in the way of, turning the torso around, sometimes it gets in the way of that. It's supposed to give the idea that these are large teeth, because when it lit up in the show, it had a silhouette that looked like these were large teeth and these were the eyes. So it created a scary appearance before it actually set onto the stage. And it also had the ability for this to close up into a slightly shorter form in the show. So these would actually lock in. That was the idea for that. And this section is kind of like the inner workings of the robot. This circular piece is actually the T-pod, if you remember from the show, from the premiere episode of Baxter. I think his name is Baxter Stockman. That's the name of it. The T-pod is what connects to Baxter's devices. It's a turtle technology that enables Baxter's robot to get this giant form. So it's really cool how they put in that kind of detail to try to mimic the episode form of Baxter's robot. Now on the top, enough of exposition. On the top, I'm not sure if these are headlights still, or if these are flick-fire missiles. I would presume that they're flick-fire missiles because they have that flick-fire on the back, and they definitely have enough space where you can shoot them on top and, hit anyone below. However, in the set, they don't actually show if it's a flick-fire missile, either one of them, but I guess it could be. I could see that definitely working out. You also see this is a similar piece to the Cars series, so that's used on the top to create a little bit more detail. Now let's take a look at some of the arms. I gotta stand it back up for this one. Now, the first arm we have is going to be the electric blaster, as I call it. This arm has a flick fire function inside of it that's operated from the back. And these are the kinds of sets that I like. Where they have the flick fire used, but you have an extra piece or so you don't have to hit the flick fire just as is. You can hit it from deep, like it's in the model somewhere, but you can hit it from the back. You'll see what I mean. Let's get April O'Neil set up there and see if we can hit her with the blaster. The piece on the front is printed. This little piece with the electricity on it is printed. And you can move these chrome finger pieces any way you want to. Let's hit him. Oh, so short. It fell right next to her. Which I'm pretty sure, could still shock her. But this is a Lego set. Not actual electricity is used. There we go. Got her. So it does work. And it's a very nice function. Once you fit it back into place, it won't move this around a lot. And it's also worked with a bunch of ball joints, so you can move the arm a couple different ways. You can have it down here, you can have it up there, so good articulation on that. Then we have a similar side. This one has a claw grabbing function, which is actually nice to see in some sets. This gives the idea for the set where where April is being captured. So the idea is you press this to launch it, and then you have this piece in the back. You can pull all of that back to the front. You have this part on here that's attached. I think this could be a little bit smaller. I mean, it's good structurally sound, but it could probably be a little bit smaller just for, for convenience, try to fit it back on. Now let's see if we can try to do that with April. We're not going to actually capture her, we're just going to send it to her. And you can see her, right? Okay. And go. Oh. Uh-oh. We had a little issue. I guess I pressed on it too hard. Alright, let's try that one more time. And it just fell. Now, there's a funny thing. We have this kind of interesting piece in here. And you can see how this attaches. So let's try that again. This is kind of nice so we don't get that coiled up or being loose. Let's try this again. Oop. Oh, ball joints are moving. Okay. There we go. That's a good hit. And we'll just put her in here. Because you do have to manually put her in. And then use the string to pull her back up. You will have to line it up yourself to fit it back in to the robot's hand. And you also need to push it in a little bit. So there you have her. We got her. Alright, so that's all for the features of the set. And now let's take a look. What do I think of this in total? This is actually a really good set. Even for $50, it's high for the price point. $40, it's right at the price point. But still, for that kind of price and all these different features and models you get, I really like this set. I'm a big fan of the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I haven't watched all the episodes yet, but I did watch this one before and after getting the set, just to take a look at some of the features. The Baxter Robot, I don't remember if he has a claw-grabbing feature like that. Actually, yes, he does. He can shoot out his claws, and then he doesn't have them retract. He has like new ones that just form into that spot where it misses. So it's kind of like a starfish. Just regenerates. That's the word. I don't remember if it has the electric blaster feature, but it's still a nice one to play with for the set. It's a very good set for an enemy set, and you also have a good balance between enemy and hero equipment. Because you have two small vehicles versus one big bad guy. I mean, I like sets like that. It reminds me of the Robo Attack from Agents. Because you had a small quad, you had an airplane, and then you had the big bad robot. So, really, how much more similar can it be? Not to say it's a bad thing. It's actually really good because it's a good use of the pieces, and it's a lot that you can play with on your own or with someone else. Because you could have one person as a robot, then the other person has maybe two other people could have these vehicles, or one person has two vehicles. So it still balances out really well. The accuracy to the show is very, very good. I don't remember them having the airplane in the show, at least in the episodes that I've watched. I've watched a lot of the early ones, so I don't remember it early on, but maybe somewhere in the episodes they have something like this. And although, if they don't, I could still see this as the turtle-type weapon, you know? Like, if this was available from other toy brands, that would make sense to me, too. This one's featured in the show. It's pretty good for its features. It's really not much in the way of features, but, you know, it's still a nice vehicle to have. This is one of the few sets that has enemy orientation to it. So, a lot of the set is more focused on the enemy. That's what I mean by that. And in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, this is something good. Because we only have one or two sets that are mainly oriented towards the enemy. This one and the Shredder's Dragon Bike. There are other sets that have enemy functions. Krang Lab Escape has them, but they're a little bit smaller builds. So this one's good for a larger build. It really puts things in perspective for the kind of battles you could set up between the Turtles and the Foot Clan and the Krang and Baxter. So, highly recommend this set if you're going to look for a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles set. If you already have Raphael and Donatello and you just want to get those new expressions, you're not really getting it for the right reasons. You want to get this because it's a Toys R Us exclusive, it's an awesome looking set, you have 3 exclusive figures which are not available on any other set, not counting the variations. I'm counting Mauser, April, and Baxter. So very, very, very good job on this LEGO. I highly recommend this to other people. And as you can tell, this is a long review because I like the set so much. It's hard for me to say this in you know, as few words as possible. because there's so much. I may be repeating myself, but there's so much of this set that makes it worth your money, and I really like it. I can't say that enough. So, I keep saying that because I don't give ratings for sets. I don't have a letter rating system. I don't have a number rating system. But if I were to, this is A+. This is 10 out of 10. This is 11 out of 10 maybe. Just for the kind of set that you're getting for this price. It's excellent. It's worthwhile. And for being a licensed set, it's not that bad of a price too. It's really worth your money. So, check it out in your local Toys R Us or on Lego.com. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you next time.